Hello, my name is Tomas and this is Kyle Henning. Thank you for agreeing to be here for our Respect Project local sporting hero interviews. I have some questions I would like to ask you if that's okay.
100% far away.
Where did you grow up and can you tell me about your childhood?
Yeah, well, I grew up in Newry, and we played called Shannon Park. Just a lovely childhood. It was all nothing too fancy. It was very family orientated. I love football. I loved going to different sort of things with my family, and that was about it really. You know what I mean? And it was quiet enough, but no, it was very good, happy childhood. So it was.
What sports did you play for when you were growing up and what teams did you play for?
Well, growing up when I was like young, it was more just sort of kicking the ball about with friends. That was sort of the only real kind of football that I had. I never really played for much teams. It was actually only started playing for a team when I was 18. I was actually a couple of weeks turning off 19, so it was pretty late in. But yeah, up before then, it was just mostly playing about with friends and kick arounds and things like that. So that'd be mostly it.
Were you ever close or interested in becoming a professional in these sports?
Well, interested, yes. Close, probably not. It was more, that when you're growing up, of course, you always want to, you want to go to the sort of heights that you see on TV of all your favorite football stars and all that. But I think, like for me, obviously, because I was a bit more of a late start into football, I think your expectations sort of changed to more realistic things within the sport you're in. So at that time, for me, it was like, can I get into the first team it was a team called Ambassadors in Portadown. And I was thinking, can I get into the first team? Can I do those kind of things? So those were kind of the goals I had at that stage. But yeah, growing up, of course, I was lifting the World Cup every night in my dreams.
Would you reckon that Ambassadors team was good?
Yeah. No, it was a great experience for me. It's a Christian ethos team, and I'm a born again Christian, as you know yourself. And it was good to get into that. And it was, the people there were really respectful, really dead on, and it was a good sort of basis to start off if you're starting a team at that late age. You know what I mean? And they were all dead on, and I enjoyed it. So it was a good experience.
Yeah.
So,
who was your first coach and what impact did they have?
My first coach was a man called John. I won't say his second name, just it, but a man called John, and he was good. Again, he was a good coach. He basically just taught me the basics of football, I suppose, and he was good. And I suppose a coach down the line, there was a coach called Matthew and David, and I always say that them two were probably the big inspirations for me coaching like I am now, because they helped me so much when I was a player. They were coaches and ambassadors, and they helped me big time, and sort of teaching me just different wee things about the game, and even as like a team basis and individual basis, they were very useful to me. So I'd say there's been a few coaches in my life that's been very influential, but I'd say them two would probably be two of the main ones.
How and why did you get into coaching underage football?
Well, I was training one night with Ambassadors, and the director of the club he was talking to us, and at the end of his talk, he was doing announcements. And basically, one of the announcements he said was the club is looking coaches for the academy. And he was saying, if you like Football Manager, the game, well, why not try it in real life? I remember hearing that thinking, it had a ring to it, what he said. I thought that's a good way to put it. So I think that just stuck in my head, what he said. So I gave that a go at Ambassadors, and I loved it. I thought it was great. And then I started coaching then a wee club called Demully, around by where I live, and I love that too. And then I got in touch with one of the coaches from Newry, and then came to Newry, and I've been loving it ever since. But yeah, it was 2021, I think that was, and yeah, I've been loving it since.
What would be your favourite part about being a coach?
Definitely the connections you make, and the sort of the people you meet, and the different sort of relationships you build. Players, of course, probably mostly players, but then, even coaches you work with and do it with as well, and like you even look with our wee team, the amount of new relationships we've built there is incredible. So definitely the people you meet and the sort of new bonds you build.
What are the major challenges you find being a coach?
I would say probably leaving some wee players out of teams and things like that. I think you go to training and you're best friends with them, you're joking, you're carrying on with them in everyone's class, and then it comes to sending the team out on Thursday night, and then you're leaving so and so out and things like that. And I genuinely have never had problems with any players I've had, so I've been really close with all the players I've had. So when you leave them out of teams, it's definitely the worst part of it all. Picking teams is awful.
So what was the best advice you were ever given?
Well, look, I always say, as a Christian, the two main pillars of what I go off is Jesus said it was the two greatest commandments. Love God with all of your heart, soul, strength, and mind, and to love your neighbour as yourself. Those are two pillars for me that I live off. They're the golden rules. So I always try and go off that, and I would always advise anybody else to take that in, to try and do that the best they can. To be honest.
What are your future sporting hopes and ambitions?
Yeah, it's just to keep on coaching. You know, I've loved every bit of it so far. It's been brilliant. It's improved me as a person. It's given me a good few goals to have and things like that. So yeah, it's just to keep going as a coach, be a manager, and hopefully go down that line, God will, and see where it goes.
Yep. Thank you, Kyle, for allowing me this opportunity to get more of an insight into your life and
100%.
career in the sport so far. I really appreciate your time today.
My pleasure, Tomas. Fair play to you.